including the buzz of Weirs in your coaching and leadership. Welcome to this resource on Weirs. As paddlers, we all know the extra buzz shooting a weir can bring to a trip out on your local waterway. Often viewed as a highlight of paddling on rivers and canals is the potential to run weirs and mess in the flow below them. They provide early opportunities for groups, particularly youngsters, to get involved in decision making based around risk, understanding how to mitigate risk and providing cover, work as a team and look out for each other with the safety and portaging. Much of the learning scales up to reading river features in moderate and advanced environments. Within an increasingly sterile world where risk is managed by the removal of hazards, such as driving youngsters to school rather than walking, removing slides from parks and don't climb signs pinned on trees, opportunities to learn how to manage and assess risks are greatly reduced. In a question about why youngsters continue to visit a canoe club, every set of 3 reasons, including something about shooting weirs, the excitement, being dangerous, being allowed to do them, and falling out. If the goal of leadership is to inspire, motivate, and, in a holistic way, educate, then adding some understanding on how to incorporate weirs into your remit is a great step forward. Weirs, also more descriptively known as low-head dams, are structures across watercourses used to control the water level both up and downstream. One of the main design requirements is that the flow overtopping the weir does not cause damage to the downstream banks and/or riverbed. This requirement can result in turbulence and dangerous currents in the weir pool. Weirs are used to manage waterways for navigation, environmental enhancement, or metering. There are many profiles and shapes of weirs, but the 4 common cross-sections are shown on this slide. All create different hydrology, which will change depending on water volume going over them. Each will create different opportunities and limitations for paddlers. Weirs can be at right angles to the flow of the watercourse, or, as the next 3 illustrations show, be shaped to increase the length of the crest. The last illustration is a side weir used to regulate water level and flood flows. Again, each profile will have implications for the possibility to shoot the weir or walk around. When thinking of any hazard on the river, the first place to look is at the recovery area. Can you perform a rescue if needed? The example shows a large flat area below the weir which is quite shallow. What cannot be seen is that both sides of the wide pool have high brick walls, removing the possibility of bank-based rescues. Rescue, therefore, needs to be boat-based, which has implications for where the leader's position of most usefulness will be. The weir also has a footbridge over the top, making the possibility of debris, shopping trolleys for example, at the foot of the weir something to be checked. The footbridge does give a platform for inspection, line of sight for the group management, and indicating to the paddlers the best entry point. Think about the weirs you know. What impacts does the local landscape have on group management? Is there a suitable portage as one of the options? Typically, water flowing over the crest of a weir speeds up and flows under the water below the base until the additional momentum is checked by the volume of static or slower water forcing a flume of the new water to the surface, creating the boil line. The force of movement away from the weir creates a negative pressure which draws water back towards the weir face from the boil line. This recirculation is known as the towback. The disruption to the smooth flow also has the effect of aerating the water below the weir. This has implications on how effectively the paddle locks in the water to manoeuvre. Understanding the hydraulic of a weir is key to your decision making. Some weirs are so large, height of water above and below, or carry high volumes of water that the hydrology will always produce an unsafe towback and a retentive hole at the base of the weir. Other weirs will change dramatically depending upon water levels and flows. Weirs can be deceptive. Here are 6 photographs. Before considering each one, on a quick look, are there any that you would not run? The first is Cossington on the River Soar, a wide concrete stepped weir with hard abutments on both sides. The stepping of the weir face reduces the force of the water, which, in turn, reduces the hydraulic recirculation. At most flow levels, the water flows away from the weir face without a towback or significant stopper. Inspection is possible on the left bank and is advisable. It can be hard to gauge the height of the last step from above. Looking out for debris and choosing a line with a good cushion wave enables leaders to point paddlers to the right entry point. Bank rescues are difficult, so boat-based rescue options should be available. The recovery area is relatively benign. The second is Weirs Weir on the River Trent, a long, gently sloping weir with a concealed concrete shelf under the runoff wave. Choosing an entry point to close to the right-hand bank with a good cushion on the runoff wave will allow for bank-based rescues and the use of the eddy at the end of the abutment. At low water levels, the absence of the wave on the concrete shelf can make the exit too dry. At high levels, a retentive stopper develops. The third weir is on the River Avon just below Stratford and is typical of a stone or rockery weir. Often there is a clean, clear V of water signalling an entry point between boulders, but the options will change depending upon water level and flow. Being sure your group can manoeuvre their craft to find the entry point is key. Your position of most usefulness may be standing on the weir to assist your group. The recovery pool is shallow and slow moving. Number 4 is Barrow Weir on the River Soar and is very similar to the first in that it is stepped. An additional consideration is the low footbridge above the weir and the stanchions that support it. In high flows, the bridge deck can disrupt the entry and catch the back of boats as they angle onto the weir face. The stanchions do provide a weakness in the developing hydraulic at the base as it builds towards unsuitable in flood conditions. Rescues need to be boat-based and can be difficult in high flow as the constrained weir pool becomes more turbulent and fast-flowing. The fifth weir is in Cromwell on the River Trent. Compared to Barrow, this looks calm and sounds much less noisy, but is deadly. The huge volume of water over a smooth, sloped, concave weir with no features to break the hydraulic cause an active towback of over 50 metres, which increases as the tidal river below changes levels. The towback is such that fire surface rigs equipped with large outboards got into difficulty when undertaking rescue training. The last photo is Weir X on the River Trewin. Again, a deceptive weir with a strong recirculation below. A lady in her 30s lost her life trying to rescue her dog in 2005. The incident was the prompt for Rescue 3 and the Welsh Environment Agency to develop a weir risk assessment tool. The weir has subsequently been re-engineered with a break in the continuous crest to change the retentive hydraulic. From the comments on the previous slide, it becomes clear that some local knowledge, experience and research are great at supporting your decision making. The more you know, the more likely your group will get to experience as much as is possible and safe. This and the following slide show images of weirs at different water levels and show that decisions on each weir are dynamic and based on the conditions of the day. The steps at Barrow on a summer's day are great to play on. The same venue in high flows becomes very committing. Again, with Abbey Park, as the level increases, the retention of the stopper becomes greater and is to be avoided. Good local knowledge points to using the second, side weir, further around the island in such conditions. These images and video links of Langham flumes have been included because they clearly show the change in the level of challenge at different volumes of flow. Take the time to compare the videos of a run through the feature at different levels. The high level may be possible but will depend on the skill of your group. Understanding the dynamic, changing nature of weirs is key to safe leadership. Knowing when to walk around can make all the difference to your group's enjoyment of the trip. This diagram illustrates the changing hydrology as the water levels above and below a weir increase. Case A shows a fun weir to shoot with the flow below flushing away from the face. Debris would be seen moving downstream. Case B. The level has increased and the wave has moved closer to the weir face. The aeration in the wave will be more visible as white water. Debris may bounce on the wave or be delayed, leaving the weir face. Case C. A further increase in level has moved the wave onto the weir face. A clear boil and towback of aerated water is evident. Debris is held in the hydraulic and can be seen moving towards the weir face. Case D. The level has risen to the point of washing out the weir. Standing waves on the surface are all that can be seen. The following is a video of a test tank set up to replicate the conditions illustrated in the previous slides. It was made to inform paddlers in response to 2 fatalities on the Jordan River, Salt Lake City in 2010.
We put a drop structure in the flume and we're going to watch as Barbie's buddy Ken goes over this drop structure. Now let's watch that from a different angle. Ken is swimming, having a good time. He goes over the structure, passes through the jump, and safely continues his exciting journey. Now for the Case B jump. Ken goes over, still passes the jump, still has a good day. Notice how little the tailwater changes from Case B to Case C. So here's Ken on a lovely summer day, and his day is now ruined. And just look at how fast the water on the surface is moving back towards the structure. And this shows why this current is just so dangerous. Now we're going to increase the tailwater. And as you can see, the Case C jump still forms. Although in this case, the current is weak enough that Ken might be able to swim out of it. Now for a Case D jump. Here's Ken passing the structure and able to go home from his vacation. Here he is again, and having a great time.
Before finishing, it would be worth thinking about how we brief our groups to shoot a weir when the decision is made that it is safe to do so. Starting with group management. Where to wait before and after shooting, followed by an equipment check for BAs, helmets, tidy kit and lines, which could be done by the group as a buddy check. Then working out a running order, possibly taking account of ability, confidence and craft. Establishing how you would signal a stop in proceedings if there is a capsize or other issue to address. Some top tips about technique may be in order depending on the experience of the group. Keeping the head above the hips, using momentum to drive the boat over the lip, keeping both hands on an active blade, ready for a support stroke if necessary, lowering the centre of gravity and trimming a little stern heavy if your craft allows. In long boats, such as touring kayaks and canoes, a diagonal approach to sloped weirs with the paddle on the upstream side avoids the issue of pivoting the boat on both ends or burying the bow into the water. Likewise, if the call is to portage weir, have a plan based on knowledge of the options. For example, which side of the weir is there? Public access, a path, easiest egress and entry, and good line of sight for you as the leader. Even with a familiar weir, check the route and re-entry before committing the group to the manoeuvre. Portages are often a good opportunity to give group members the experience of practicing their leadership with you offering support and oversight. Also, encourage safe manual handling along with teamwork. In a larger group, resist the temptation to get actively involved in the portage, as this will restrict your ability to have oversight of what is happening. As a general principle, look to move kit rather than people. For example, line boats on the water from one person to the next, or pass kit down a line of people. This is a new resource for leaders, so your comments and questions would be welcome in order to help make it as useful as possible. British Canoeing will be programming webinars on using Weirs as part of their digital offer. Look out for these opportunities to consider this material in a more interactive way. And lastly, if you would like to understand more about Weirs, the Rescue 3 Natural Resources Wales Risk Assessment tool mentioned earlier is a great way to quantify the elements and risks of a specific weir. Using this tool will build your ability to make robust assessments of the weirs you intend to use.